Welcome to Essential Ingredients, powered by Next Gen Purpose, hosted by me, Justine Reichman. Every Tuesday, we serve up thoughtful conversations with founders, sustainability leaders, and community organizers who share their stories and missions within the regenerative food sphere. It's all about boosting forward-thinking folks and brands working to make better for you and better for the planet food more accessible. Welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm your host, Justine Reichman. Today with me is Mark, who is the founder of Dirtbag. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Justine.
So we had a little hiccup at the kickoff here, but we're back rolling and ready to go. So Mark, can you tell us, for our listeners and our viewers, what is the Dirtbag Bar?
Yeah, absolutely. So Dirtbag Bar is a chewy chocolate date bar that I made. It's organic, vegan, gluten-free. It's made with whole food ingredients. It doesn't contain any sugar, added sugars, powders, oils, syrups, anything like that. It's just like super clean, super simple. And I started making it for myself. I used to run a food stand at a outdoor seasonal food market in New York called Smorgasburg. And so I was just kind of making the bar as like a snack for myself and sharing it with like my team and people that I was working with. So that's kind of how it came about initially. And
so I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned it's gluten-free and it's vegan and it's all these different things. Why was that important to you?
Just for the health benefits of that. Like I wanted it to be like really nutrient dense, but also not super calorically dense either. So I wanted it to just be like a little bit of a pick-me-up, just a little like source of clean like energy and fuel, but like not like a meal replacement. And so yeah, I mean, I try to like, I love vegan desserts in general. Like for me, like some of the most interesting desserts I've had are vegan, and I think it's always like an interesting challenge to like make something that doesn't include like traditional ingredients and try to like make it a little bit like healthier. And as someone who really loves chocolate and chocolate snack bars, it just felt really hard to find something that tasted good, had a good texture, and that didn't contain added sugar. That was really the big one for me. It was just refined sugars.
So I appreciate your initiative to make a good for you bar. On a personal level, I try not to eat sugar. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't eat gluten because I'm intolerant, all these different things. And while I eat butter, I don't eat eggs because I'm intolerant. So I go for vegan because it takes out the eggs in so many baked goods or bars or whatever, right? But I'm curious, why, did you do that on a personal level? You're healthy, you just want to be healthy. Was it to fill a void in the marketplace?
I wasn't really trying to fill a void in the marketplace, which is probably like a really, I wouldn't recommend creating something, with just like, without doing some research first. Like this was kind of like, I started making this for myself. I liked it. Other people liked it. And then COVID happened. And I was like, okay, I'll just try to turn this into its own project, because my other business was like temporarily shut down because the markets weren't in operation. And so I was kind of like making it just out of like a personal preference and desire to like try a packaged food project, because I've always been in restaurants and in catering and doing that kind of stuff for most of my life. So yeah, I kind of just was like, maybe the market might want this, maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just going to make it and put it out there and see what happens. But yeah, I just like, just in general, I did notice like an overall trend of like better for you treats, and especially like chocolate candies. Like now you see all these companies making products that have like oat milk instead of regular dairy in them, and like sugar, like zero sugar, and stuff like that. So I think like overall, Dirtbag Bar was kind of like fitting into that space that was kind of emerging around like better for you chocolate treats and snacks like that. So yeah, I wasn't really like super focused on market research and trying to find a white space and fill that, which you should definitely do by all means. I just didn't do it at the time because I had already been making this bar and I was like, I just want to share this with people that I've already been making it. So but yeah,
So my next question is, because you made this bar, you liked it, people liked it, and you were building a CPG brand and company, well, maybe not intentionally initially. And so you've been a chef, you've cooked, but now you have to create that and innovate to make that bar. But you've really changed from being in the kitchen all the time, unless you're still making the bars yourself, to creating a brand and a product. What was that shift like for you?
At first, I mean, it was really fun. Like I've always done like
At first it was fun, but now it's not.
and it's still fun. It's just incredibly there's a lot of pressure and it's incredibly capital intensive to keep a project like this going. It's just imagine like you're like, hey, let's drive cross country. That sounds like an awesome idea, but you only have enough money for gas to get you like
PC from New
so
York.
far, it's like you better make sure you have enough money to get for like to fill your gas tank to get you all the way across the country, or at least be able to like figure out how to find the money to keep going. That's
Right.
kind of like what it feels like. So it's like you're starting out, you have this like idea, all these like, I want it to look like this, and I want the brand to feel like that. And it's like, it's really fun. It's like all the creative stuff that's happening, which I thrive on. Like, I love design. I love making like art and collages and like stuff like that. And so my brain just really gets excited when all of that type of work is happening. It's not so much as good with like the nitty gritty and the financials and like selling and sales and marketing and stuff like that. It's just kind of like it kind of like goes over my head a little bit. It's like more of a learning curve for me. It's something that I'm trying to get better at. But
So,
yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
no, if I can ask, so
Yeah,
we're all good at certain things, and then there's other things that are just not our skill set. How did
yeah.
you approach that?
Well, I tried to find people to work with to kind of like balance the things that I wasn't as good at. And I have been able to like work with some really amazing people that have joined the project. Like I have a friend that helps me with sales right now, and he reps like a few other really amazing like organic, socially conscious brands in the CPG space. And so he's been like an incredible wealth of knowledge, and I've really enjoyed working with him. And I hope to be able to start working with more people soon that are, have more experience in maybe like operations or sales or marketing and stuff like that as the project grows. But like right now, like I literally yesterday just placed the order for the third run of bars. So we're really, Dirtbag Bar is really at this critical moment of whether, it's like, will we make it to January? Will we be able to like keep going and find amazing people to work with and collaborate with as partners on the project? How many more stores can we bring in? It's like a lot of uncertainty, but I mean, I'm excited. It makes me feel so happy to be able to like that I've made it this far and that I'm able to still like share this bar with the world and like people, especially like health food stores and those kind of like old school food co-op spots that are like really, they really take to it and appreciate like the ingredients and just the approach and the purpose of it. So
I think
it's like a roller coaster right now.
it's purpose driven and it's passion driven and it's your
Yeah,
purpose and your passion. And
yeah,
I think that
100%.
so often that's what ignites us as entrepreneurs. It's what gets us up in the morning, enables us to keep going when we struggle. It doesn't seem, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that we're happy to face because we want to keep providing that, whether it's you that you want everybody to keep having access to your bar, etc. So for me, I mean, having my business has been, it gets me up every day. I'm excited, and there's challenges, and whether, trying to get sponsors or this and that, but if I didn't have that, we couldn't have these podcasts, right? And I feel like, my calling, if you will, is to be able to break down this information, to give it to people so that they can make more informed and better choices for themselves. And so that's what, and for you, it's because you made this amazing bar. And I want to talk to you because I also love the branding. And I know you mentioned that's part of your skill sets, design and aesthetics. And with that, I'd love to know, how did you come up with the name Dirtbag? And, that's my first question. My second question will be around the design. But
yeah, absolutely.
Let's start with
No, I
Dirtbag.
just like growing up, I just always loved being outside and doing outdoor activities. And like, I was always either like climbing or surfing or like doing something in the water, in the mountains, snowboarding. And that just kind of that lifestyle of like being a nomad, living really simply, minimally, pursuing like doing things you love, pursuing your passion. It just seemed kind of like a great set of values to communicate through a brand, especially like creating a bar that was meant to like just be a source of clean energy for someone, whether they were going like hiking or going to the climbing gym or going to do yoga or like whatever they were doing. It just felt like it kind of like fit nicely at the intersection of like really good quality food and spending time outside and recreating, like outdoor recreation and stuff like that.
So I want to go back a second then, right? We're talking about healthy foods. We're talking about building something that connects, you from the outdoors to this healthy bar. And I'm not going to say that burgers are not healthy, but it seems like there's sort of a big leap. And so how did it feel to take that leap to go from cooking burgers to building good for you brands?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, because Burger Supreme, my burger stand, was kind of like an accident. Like it before then, I had always been working with beans and plant-based foods. Like I wrote a cookbook about beans called Kill the Recipe, and I was always doing bean pop-ups. And then I was working with a coffee company as their creative director and doing menu development, redesigning their packaging, set up a cafe for them and all that. And so like that project came to an end, and I was kind of like, oh, what should I do now? And I was like, oh, I'll just do this burger pop-up. And just, it was supposed to just be like a short-term interim thing. It never was intended to like grow to the point that it did. And I'm very grateful that it did, because it's provided me with a lot of amazing experiences, like making burgers like in Japan for 2 weeks, making burgers like traveling to like LA and Miami and doing food and wine festivals and just doing fun collaborations and pop-ups with other chefs. So yeah, but I've never really, my cooking has never really been focused like around meat like it has like with the burger stand. It was just a total fluke. So yeah, but I mean, like I've given that, like if I was gonna have like a burger, like I've always wanted to have, like I love vegan desserts, so it just always was like the balance for me regardless. This is like a really good like burger and a really good vegan dessert just sounded like a great combination to me.
It sounds like you get to make, your better for you choice for the day, right? You have the burger, which might be, more caloric or have more fat, right? But then you're creating this better for you vegan dessert, right? Which maybe has some better ingredients. And vegan doesn't always mean better. It can still have a huge amount of sugar, but
right.
Depending on what it is, many times vegan desserts will try to aim to incorporate dates instead of some other sweetener, or etc., or nuts to do instead of a cheese. And cheese is not necessarily bad. It just might be better for you, better for the planet, and your better decision that day to complement what you're eating.
Well, and that's the key. I think that's the key difference is like I wanted to create something that was made with whole food ingredients that didn't have all those refined processed ingredients. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. There can be like any sort of vegan food, vegetarian foods like contain they can contain a lot of processed ingredients. And so like I wanted because I was using whole food ingredients for this bar, it was just like by default it was vegan, you
Right.
know. So no like protein powders, egg powders, like collagen, like anything like that. Like all of those like ingredients have their places and
Mhm.
people are seeking that out. That's cool. But yeah, I just wanted just it to be like really simple.
So since Dirtbag is now getting into larger stores, our local organic store, which is one of my favorites, Gooder,
Yeah.
and you're in Rainbow and you're in Buy Right, and I don't know if you're in what other stores around the country you're in, but that's a really good start here in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
Um, what's your goals for the next, this year and the next 3 years? Are you hoping to, how many stores are you hoping to get into? And then are you hoping to add additional SKUs to Dirtbag?
So yeah, I've been really lucky with the stores like reaching out. Like Erewhon brought it in, Foxtrot, Buy Right, Rainbow, like and tons of other amazing like independents, like and smaller shops like
Anything in New York?
The Goods Mart and Dimes.
You can't forget about them now.
No, yeah, they're
We
the best.
focus on
They were
good for you, better for you products.
Yeah, no, they were early supporters. I love them to death. Like yeah, they're great. And then there's some other like independents around like the Hudson area, New York and stuff like that. But yeah,
Woodstock
my
would be
goal,
good, and the Hamptons.
no, yeah, totally. Yeah, I haven't.
Cinderella's maybe like out east. Um,
Yeah, East Coast is like right now the main focus is California just because that's
right,
where I'm at. But East Coast is probably gonna happen soon.
fair
Like
enough.
focusing more on that, right? Like maybe next year. But yeah, my goal right now is just to get to 100 stores by the end of this year. We're at about 75 right now. Um, which is good considering, it's just me and one other part-time person helping me.
That's it
Um,
would be a great snack for back to school too. When the
oh,
kids have after
100%.
school
Yeah.
activities and they need a little snack, that would be a
Yeah, well,
great.
I would love to do down the road. I just have so many ideas for like new form factors and some other SKUs, but like all of that is just kind of like waiting in the wings right now. Like right now the main focus is just the single SKU and the one bar, and I just want to get as far along as I can with that, and then try to like maybe get to the next step, whether that's like fundraising, and then that would getting to that point, then that's where it would make sense to like start building out more of a team,
Mhm.
developing new flavors and SKUs and stuff like that. Because yeah, I mean there would be nothing cooler in my mind than to do like a fun size version of Dirtbag Bar for like a mom to like throw in her kids like lunchbox to like for
Right.
school, or like just have like different ways to you know
Disseminate it.
enjoy the bar, but not in its just traditional form. Maybe do some like ice cream collaborations or
Oh,
something.
that would be fun. You could
Yeah.
work with Eclipse, maybe, Eclipse?
I don't.
Oh, you got
Oh,
to check out Eclipse.
okay.
Check out Eclipse, and they're a vegan ice cream.
Oh,
It could
cool.
be fun. And I'll think of some others too, but that's the first one that came to mind. Alon Steinhardt is the guy that founded it. I think that.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
think it would make really good ice cream.
so my question for you is, so you came at this from having a variety of different kind of, your path wasn't straight, right? Which
No.
gives you access to a variety of experiences, exactly, as is mine, right? So, but as a result, what about your experience do you think helped you with this?
I mean, I've done so much in the food space, from like interning at a food and wine festival and working with and doing some PR in that capacity, and to doing like working with a food quarterly, and so working in like the magazine and publishing space a little bit, publishing a cookbook, designing restaurants, doing menu development, product development. There's just so many things that I've done that
Right.
all are focused around food. So like when you do a CPG brand, you have like there's a lot of elements to pull together. And so I think like having some experience and like I think the wide range of experiences I've had professionally so far have really helped um Dirtbag Bar get to where it is today, just by like, you know, there's a lot more than just product development. Product development almost just feels like a small percentage of the overall like scope of what it takes to just bring like a packaged food project into the world. So yeah, I think everything is really informed just like what I do on a day-to-day basis now. I can just pull from these different experiences and skills that I learned along the way to kind of like, you know, round out like what I'm able to do. I think that's why I'm able to like get to where I'm at so far, like, you know, with just myself and then like some like really talented strategic partners. It's just helped like those relationships, like I think those working relationships um be a little bit smoother too, just like knowing a little bit about what the other person's doing and stuff like that. So
So,
in their field.
that totally makes sense to me. I know that, all the varied experiences that I have helped me get to where I am. While it may not be directly related in the sense that I'm not in the exact same industry,
Yeah.
things you can, are purposeful in different places. So what was what was your greatest challenge coming into the CPG space? Having worked in food, but not being a first-time entrepreneur. And in terms of a CPG brand, obviously you were an entrepreneur doing all those other, things, but starting a brand and a business with a
Yeah.
product is different. So what do you think was the biggest challenge not having coming from that area?
Yeah. So this might not be exactly related to the question, but personally, my biggest challenge, like the reason Dirtbag Bar is such a purpose-driven project, as far as like the give backs for like mental health and, you know, giving to 1% for the planet and stuff like that. The mental health component was the most important part of this project for me because that's my biggest challenge. Like I've struggled with depression and my mental health like pretty much my entire life. And so like being an entrepreneur and having the stress of a business to run, but then also like not knowing like how you're gonna feel when you wake up in the morning, whether you might just totally be like so just like stuck in your own head or in this like depressed mood where it feels impossible to do stuff. Like if some, for like a long time, like it would feel like really hard to even just get out of bed and take a shower. And so like having days like that, I mean, I haven't had days like that in a long time, which have been good. But like for me personally, the biggest challenge is like being able to keep things moving forward, knowing that like I might not be able to function mentally one day and like how to manage all of that. So that's
Especially as a solo entrepreneur.
yeah, I mean, so that's my biggest challenge is just to be able to keep myself in a healthy space, recognize when I'm overextending myself or trying to do too much, and then dialing it back or just adjusting based on what I'm dealing with personally. And also just, being able to like push through it sometimes and just like to be able to get a few things done that might be really like critical in terms of like a timeline. So yeah, like
What do you do to help you in those moments?
so yeah, so I've really like in the past 2 years have like really developed like a little toolkit of practices that I can rely on. I mean, I'm able to do therapy on a weekly basis, which is really good. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. But some of the practices that I rely on when I get stuck in those kind of depressive moods, breath work, meditation, sound baths are really helpful. I find sound and vibration to be really soothing and help me move some of those emotions through. Just going on walks, like long walks, like, you know, the other day, when I was out at the beach near you, in Point Reyes area. And yeah, I mean, I just felt like the drive out there, I was just having a really stressful day. And so that's why I just went to the beach, and I literally just walked down the beach and back for like almost 2 hours just to kind of like clear some of that energy out, because like my nervous system just felt like super overloaded. Because yeah, I mean, it's like working in a stressful industry with a lot of uncertainty and financial pressure. It's already hard enough, but then when you mix like the uncertainty of what your mood and emotions are going to be at a day-to-day basis, sometimes it just feels like you're walking up a really steep hill but pulling a giant heavy bag behind you.
I really appreciate you sharing that all with me, because I know that many entrepreneurs or lots of people in the world struggle with that, and it's not uncommon. And to be able to hear that could be really helpful for so many people to know that they're not alone, B, hear what works for you so that maybe they can try some of those tools in your toolkit. So I'm really grateful that you shared that, because I know it's personal, and I know
Yeah,
that it can be really difficult. So I think that, you know, for our viewers and our listeners, I'm really grateful they have the opportunity to hear from somebody that, you know, has done all these different things and is now running a CPG company and was open about, you know, your challenges and the
yeah.
way you address them. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, I think it's just like for anyone else that might be feeling in a similar way, it's like don't let these things stop you. You know, just figure out how to work with them. Um, and but yeah, if it's like just go for it. If you have something you want to do, like just figure it out. And
Um,
I always didn't manage it in the healthiest ways, but over the past few years, like learning about and doing these things, like as far as what I was saying with like breath work and meditation and yoga and just stuff like that, has been incredibly helpful.
yeah, Mark,
So yeah,
I really appreciate you sharing that and your story. And for
yeah.
those listeners and viewers that are tuned in, I know we mentioned some of the products,
Mhm,
some of the places where they could get your product.
mhm.
Um, if they wanted to learn more about Dirtbag, where can they go to find that out?
Oh yeah, totally. So the website is dirtbagbar.com. It's a very minimal, pretty minimal, no frills website. It just has some basic information, store locator, so you can just click on that and find what stores we're at. And then like a little bit of background just on my life and my professional experiences. So yeah, just kind of gives you a brief overview of everything, and then you can also buy the bars online too. At
Okay, that's
the website.
exciting. That's
So
exciting because,
so
you know,
yeah,
not everybody lives in Northern California or Southern California. And since you haven't yet expanded, being you're new, for
yeah,
those
yeah.
that are in other parts of the country, to get the
Yeah, I
Dirtbag
mean,
Bar, all you have to do is go to the dirtbagbar.com website.
yeah, I mean, I just officially launched in this past May, so it hasn't really been
Congratulations.
too long, but yeah,
Awesome. Mark, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story with me. And
yeah,
I hope to follow along and continue to see your progress and find you in my local store here soon. I know I'm hoping Good Earth, and then maybe Woodlands and etc. Fingers crossed.
yeah,
Um, and you know, given I am a New Yorker, I'm hoping to hear it's in more New York stores so I could let my friends know too. So thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to chatting again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Justine.
Thanks for digging in. To learn more about these stories, you can access the show notes at nextgenpurpose.com/podcast. If you like what you just heard, head to Apple Podcasts or wherever you do your listening to hit subscribe and leave us a review. To join the conversation, follow us on Instagram at essential.ingredients and check out our weekly newsletter for your dose of food industry info. Visit the Next Gen Purpose YouTube channel for videocasts of each episode and give this episode a like while you're there. You can also connect with me directly at justine.reichman on Instagram and The Real Justine Reichman on TikTok. See you next week.